Hi, this is Cricket Quast with J.K. Bella Events. I'm back today to talk to you about another topic for wedding planning, and that is timelines. So why a timeline? What is the purpose of having it, and why should we have one? So the purpose of a timeline is to help you be organized and prepared for that day. And why is that important? It's important so that you can enjoy your day and not have the stress and worry of the chaos that can come if you're not prepared. It also is important so that if someone else needs to see what's going on, they can step in, look at your timeline, and see who's supposed to be coming when, and phone numbers and contacts and everything else. So it's really just to prepare the best you can, and for anyone who's helping, have them be prepared as well. So have your timeline. If you're using a planner, they should be making a timeline for you most likely. If not, then you'll want to make one yourself and give it to your planner. It just depends on what you're hiring your coordinator for the day to do. Most month of coordinators will make a timeline for you. So it allows anybody to step in and see what's going on and helps you be prepared. That's the whole reason why. So now, what all goes into a timeline? Your timeline really is going to be every detail of the day. And if you're having rehearsal the day before, it also can include that at the very beginning of your timeline, just so that you kind of have a flow for that evening as well. But so it's going to have the flow of your day, details down to songs and who's doing what. So the flow of the event, and that is really going to depend on what you want and what you envision. So I can make some suggestions of how the flow of the day or the reception would go, but it really is completely up to you, and then just writing it down. So decide on what you want for your the flow of your day, and then you can kind of fill in the gaps. So start almost like you would a timeline and fill in what you know, and then go from there. So probably one of the most important things on that timeline is going to be, when are vendors coming? Because some venues will make have you not have all the vendors come at the same time. So you want to make sure that when you have called your vendors and you're finding out when they plan on coming, that it works into your timeline of when everyone can be there and not stepping on toes. So you will have on there when your vendors are coming. You will want on there as well contacts of one or two people from each vendor, their phone numbers, their names, so that if it's 1:30 and the flowers are supposed to be there at 12 o'clock, you have someone to contact. Because we all know things happen, and if you are prepared, then it's an easy fix. So you want to have their information on there, and also, again, so that anybody can take that timeline and fill in knowing the information. So then you'll also want to have the flow of your day. So what time, some suggestions: brides and grooms will often meet with their bridal party early in the morning. So having on there, what time are you starting, if the hair's being done, the order of the bridesmaids. I also would put on the timeline the order of when you're the ceremony, the order of walking down, their names. You can even go as far as putting their numbers down too. So if something happens, your person taking care of everything that day has all the information without having to bother you at all. That is the whole point. You should not be having to stress at all the day of your event. So having on there when you're meeting, if you're having lunch, if someone's bringing you lunch, the numbers for that. So like I said, as many details as you can will really prepare you for your day. I know that I had a wedding I worked once, and the food, they couldn't get there for whatever reason, and we had the number and we could call. So those little details make all the difference, and the bride and groom never knew what was going on because we were able to take care of it. You're also going to want to have the order of your ceremony, and if you have a program, you can just in your timeline put "see attached program," so that you don't have to write it out twice. But knowing the order of your bridal party, their names, who's doing readings, the writing down those readings, what songs everyone's coming down the aisle to, it all can be part of that timeline, and so that there's not any question of what you wanted because you've prepared for that day. And then when you are doing photographs, you're going to want to have that detailed too. So thinking about photographs, you want to think about who, what, when, where, how. You want all those photos done. If there is people that you want in those photos that you may not think of, write them down, put them in an attached timeline or somewhere so that every single detail is there and you're not having to worry about it. You also, give suggestions of the flow of the reception. Often when the ceremony is done, there's a cocktail hour so that the bridal party and family can all take their pictures and the guests are not too bored. So, after the cocktail hour, if that's what you're doing, then it always works well to, if you're doing a grand entrance, so have your bridal party, family, whoever you're wanting to be part of that grand entrance, come in and then going right into your first dance, because everybody wants to see that and the attention is already there and on you. There's not the worry of someone's missing it. So all those things that you don't want people to miss, you can do almost right away. So then the rest of the evening is just a flow of easy what's going on next and people aren't missing anything. So first dance, if you want to cut the cake, then you can have dinner and then do toasts. Then father-daughter dance and mother-son dance. And a fun idea, too, that was once suggested to me and I thought was great, is having an anniversary dance. And you go around and see who has been married the longest and having them dance and either leave the floor or come up to the floor and just kind of see who's been married the longest. It's kind of fun. So figure out the flow of your evening. And then on your timeline as well, after you've had your flow and you've thought about that, include when your vendors are going to be leaving. So if your flowers are coming and just dropping off and not coming back that evening to pick up vases or whatever you've borrowed from them, that in your timeline you're making sure you have somewhere that someone knows that it needs to be packaged up and put somewhere or taken. So every single detail, like I said, is taken care of. There's no worries, there's no chaos. And also the details of who's cleaning up, who's taking the gifts, because guaranteed someone's not going to know what's going on, and if you have not made the timeline and your coordinator doesn't know, then it may get missed and not done. So all those details, the order of the ceremony, the order of the reception, order of the songs, and a list of the songs. If you want specific songs played in a certain order, have those written down. You can give the DJ or the band your list, or if there's someone that's taking care of just hooking up a speaker to an iPhone or however you're playing your music, that they know the order and there's not the question again, so you're not stressing. Everything is taken care of. And then just make sure you have in there always who's in charge. For instance, if there's some family member that's coming to help set up the tables for the reception, have their names on there so the coordinator or whoever's in charge knows to look for that person. Can, again, put their contact information if you have it. As much information as you have, put on there. It's better to have too much than too little. And then make sure you know, it's also good, especially for the coordinator, if they're supposed to give tips to anyone, they know when to give those tips. If the cake person is coming back for some reason, you know to give it to them then, or when the DJ is leaving or band is leaving, that you always have all the information. So there's not a question. You're not having to be bothered that day. That's the whole point. You're not being bothered. And so that with that said, just prepare and include as much as you can, and the day will go much better. So if you have not watched the rest of my videos, there are some helpful ones. I would suggest the very first one that I've done, that is how to plan an event, and it goes into details of things you might not be thinking of for your event. I hope you have enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you'd like. All right, bye-bye.